Lord, teach us how to pray. The importance of prayer, why we have to pray. And I do believe Jesus gave us a beautiful example of the importance of prayer. Stanley Ruther, father from Oklahoma, priest from Oklahoma City, I do believe it's a beautiful example for us why it's important to pray. If we check on them and we look at them, the importance of prayer, both of them, what they did, they fulfill what the Father was inviting them to do. Jesus Christ, he was at the garden, he was praying, and then these people came and captured him and took him to be crucified. Remember, Jesus was perhaps afraid, or perhaps, wonder. Even Jesus himself said right before he died, my God, why you forsaking me? Why you abandon me? But let us do it according to your will. And he did. He listened, he obeyed, and he fulfilled what the Father asked him to do because of the faithfulness of his prayer, because he was in relationship with the Lord, because he was connected to the Lord, so he was able to fulfill. Father Stanley, he was a missionary in Guatemala. Remember, Father Stanley, perhaps for some people, he was not very smart, but however, you know what he did? He was praying, he was serving the people of God in Guatemala, and then what happened? He came back to the States, to Oklahoma. Then, when he was praying, he noticed what God was calling him to do, to go back to that country. And what happened to him? They killed him as a witness of the gospel. So he fulfilled what the Father was calling him to do. It wasn't easy, but however, because the importance of prayer, because he was in connection with the Lord, he was able to fulfill what God the Father was inviting him to do. The question is that we have to ask ourselves, are we fulfilling what God is inviting us to do? I will give you a couple of my own examples dealing with my life. When I came to the United States, I didn't speak any word in English. So I was working here. As soon as I came here, I was a lay person, so I was working in Chimis, in the Mexican restaurant. So a lot of people eat my food, what I prepared, even though I didn't know how to cook, but I did. So I was there working in that restaurant, and then at the same time I was working for the Diocese of Tulsa as a lay person, visiting different missions here in the diocese. After a while, I left that job, and I went to work for St. John's Hospital. And then after a while, I decided to go to the seminary. But before I came, I was born in Mexico, in Guadalajara, 6.5 million people. So I'm used to have a lot of people around me, a lot of traffic, and a lot of pollution. Then I moved to Mexico City, where there are more than 20 million of people there, with a lot of traffic, a lot of people, and a lot of pollution. Then from there, I came to Tulsa, where there's no traffic, there's not too many people, and a lot of pollution. So it was shocking for me. When I remember I was landing, and I saw the city. It's like, wow, it will be interesting. After being in Mexico City with 20 million people and come to here 500,000 people, I think, it was a big shock. So I landed, and I asked him, can you take me to downtown? Because I wanted to see people. After 5 o'clock, downtown area, 1997, nobody. So it's like, oh God, why you call me here? Why I have to be here? So anyway, after that, I started working in Chimis and then St. John's. And then after almost 2 years of being wild man working outside, God called me to go to the seminary. So I went to the seminary, and they sent me to Conception, Missouri, to study English. I don't know if any of you know where Conception, Missouri is. It's the middle of nowhere. There are monks, my neighbors, there were the cows, and the dead people, and that's it. So I was there 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later. There was a tension in the seminary because we were the first group in that seminary studying English. So some of the Anglo classmates, or Anglo people who were there at the seminary, they were not very welcoming, towards us as Mexicans. I remember I understood a lot of English, so sometimes they will say, you need to go back to your country, we need you here, things like that. So I was very upset. I remember David Sean, I can say his name because later on become good friends. David, he was in the army and the Navy before, but I was so upset that one day I went to his room and I told him, bring it on. I wanted to fight, because he was the one who was making those, comments that Mexicans, we need to go back to Mexico. And I was so upset. So I went to him and like, okay, you want to fight? Let's do it. And then another classmate, he said, you are in the seminar, you cannot do that. I was like, but I was so upset. And after that, I said, I'm leaving. I'm not staying here. So, but what I did, I went to confession because I wanted to fight this guy. He didn't do it, but I had my intention. And then the priest, I always pray the rosary. And one time the priest told me, just go pray and ask the Lord to guide you. I said, I will do it. I was praying the rosary around the Conception Seminary, and they have the image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So I stopped in front of the Blessed Heart of Jesus, and I stopped there, and I asked him, somehow in 50 days you have to show me something if I need to be here or not. Somehow you have to tell me something that this is my call to be a priest and to be here or not. So it was my intention, 50 days, to have some kind of sign. So I continued prayer, and then the next day, nothing happened. The next day, nothing happened. 2 weeks later, the day that it was 15 days, and then I said, that's it, that nothing happened. I started packing. I started collecting my books. I called the bishop. I said, Bishop, I'm leaving the seminary. I don't want to be here anymore. The bishop told me, I invite you to stay there. Just finish English. If you want to leave the seminary, that's okay, but I want you to stay. I told the bishop, no, I'm not staying. So I started collecting my books. I started packing. And then when I was packing, I dropped a book, and the image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus came out. And right there, I remember what I said 15 days before. You have to show me something. So when I saw the picture of the Blessed Heart of Jesus, I just started laughing, and then I started crying. Because right there, I just felt that God gave me that answer that I wanted to have. That particular day, God, the 15 days that I was living, is when he showed me the Blessed Heart of Jesus. So it's like, okay, maybe you want me to be here. Then my friend came to my room, and he said, Sammy, I know that you have been struggling, and I just want to let you know that I have been doing a novena for you. I have been praying to the Blessed Heart of Jesus to help me with the vocation. So I stood up, hugged him, and said, thank you. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because you allowed me, you taught me to trust in you. And then I decided, and see, here I am as a priest. Now, like around 2 months ago, with the bishop asked me to go to Miami, go to Miami, Oklahoma. I was like, wow, it's a small town. I had never been in a small town. My fear, like I'm going to be in the middle of nowhere. So like, okay, Bishop, I will do it. I just wanted to say it, even though I was not okay, but I said, I'm okay. A week later, a friend of mine who is a priest from Mexico, he works with the Conference of Bishops, all the bishops. He always help with them. He called me, and he said, they call me Prieto. Prieto means dark skin, but they call me like that. I said, Prieto, I just want to call you because we want to invite you to come to work in Mexico in one of the dioceses. This diocese is a resort place. They have no priest there. They need a kind of lawyer. They have an Italian community. They have Canadian and American community, and the Hispanic community is there. And they say, you can do Italian, English, and Spanish and work at the tribunal. So I start thinking, Miami, resort place. Miami, or go to the ocean to be with, with the people, you know. I was like, oh God, you know, it feels good. And you know, part of me, my pride, is like, you know, I'm going to Miami, where there are not too many people, you know, thinking, maybe I can be a good priest there. But then I was thinking, I will help the Italian people, I will help the Canadian people, the American people, the Hispanic people, and the tribunal is so attractive. I was like, you know, God is calling me there. So I was thinking about it to go and talk to the bishop and say, Bishop, maybe I will go to Mexico because they really need me there. Miami is a small place, so maybe they don't need me there. They need me there. So I started thinking about it, and I said, I had to pray. And I started praying, and then I went. When the bishop told me, you are going to be in Miami, he told me the name of the church. But I didn't pay attention because it was Miami. But then, when I started praying, and then I decided to go to visit the people in Miami, I went there, and what I noticed, the Blessed Heart of Jesus. The name of the church, Blessed Heart of Jesus. So like, okay, God, I know I have to listen to you. But then I celebrate Mass with them, and it's when it brings me peace. I was more in peace. And I say, thank you, Jesus, you know, because somehow you want me to be there, and now you are giving me peace. So I just want to give you the example, but many of us, we struggle like that too. Sometimes we want to do our own will. God is calling us to do something, but many times we can be attracted to something else, and we can excuse ourselves. I'm going to do great. You know, I can do many things because, you know, I can speak English, Spanish, Italian. I can do many things. I feel so attractive. They need me there. But is this what Jesus is calling me to do or not? Is what Jesus is calling me, inviting me to do or not? After I pray, after allowing myself to listen to the Lord, is when God gives me peace to be in Miami, Oklahoma. So, and the importance of praying, Jesus showed us, because he prayed, he fulfilled what the Father is asking us to do. Father Stanley Luther, because he prayed, he fulfilled what the Father invited him to do. So now, I don't want to say that I'm a saint, but you know, somehow, it's like, okay, God, you call me to Miami, I will be happy, and I will fulfill what you are asking me to do. So today, brothers and sisters, what I said before, ask the question to yourself, I am doing what God is inviting me to do or not? What I need to do? Pray and listen to the Lord. Listen and fulfill what the God the Father is inviting you to do. Let us profess our faith. I believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, life from light, true God from true God, begotten and made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us and for our salvation, he came back from heaven. By the Holy Spirit, was born and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried, and was raised on the third day, in accordance with the Scriptures. He ascended into heaven, and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. And I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, Hebrew life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who is the Father and the Son and the Spirit, who has spoken to the prophets. I believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. I confess my baptism for forgiveness of sins, and
look forward to the resurrection of the dead,
and
the life of the world to come. Amen.
Now let us express our needs to God.
That Pope Francis and all bishops will lead this Catholic Church into a time of healing and renewal. and strengthen the bonds of unity between faithful Catholic people and the clergy, let us pray to the Lord.